Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. Nice. Enjoyed that 3-day weekend. I can tell you that, except for one little interlude in the middle of the weekend. Yeah, I used the rest and recreation, and I'm kind of charged up and feeling pretty good.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm feeling better. I thought I'd be, right after the game Saturday, man. It was just like kind of just dead in the water, basically. I was kind of running out of gas, but which I kind of do. I tend to do actually the last couple of years. Just right after the game, it's just kind of like, yeah. But yeah, bounce back with a 3-day weekend, like you said. And speaking of bouncing back, obviously the Red Raiders are looking to bounce back from that 47-27 loss to Ole Miss. And most of the questions here aren't the most positive, all right? But these are the questions that were asked. They're still very good questions, so let's dive into them. The first one comes from Old Ball Coach 87, who wants to know, when was the last time Tech beat a ranked opponent at home and on the road? Well, the last time they beat an opponent away from the Jones was in the bowl game against Arizona State, the Holiday Bowl in 2013. Arizona State was one of the top teams in the Pac-12 that year, and Tech had a big upset. They were coming off 5 straight losses in the regular season. But that was the last time Tech beat a ranked opponent on the, or at least away from the Jones. The last time at home was actually, I believe when I met you. It was, I have notes here actually with the exact date. September 12, 2013 against TCU. Tech beat, number 24 TCU 20-10. That was the infamous Fox game, Mighty Joe.
Right, yeah, that's a long dry spell at home. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And to give you an idea of just what their record is against ranked opponents, they are 2-19 under Kingsbury. They've lost 15 in a row. And according to, there's a really good story, by the way, by Reck'emRed.com on this, just about Kirby Hocutt needing to hold Kingsbury to a higher standard. And basically he cited losing 15 in a row to ranked opponents as a reason for it. And according to FBSschedules.com, I was surprised by this one, this stat. Tech has the 4th longest losing streak among Power 5 schools against ranked opponents, behind Rutgers, Kansas, and Illinois. Ooh. So that's who you're stuck with. That's your company. And that's the absolute worst of Power 5 football there. That one kind of took the wind out of my sails when I saw it. So let's just move on from that. There's not, man,
my appetite for lunch just kind of vanished. Well, not entirely, but
yeah. I was about to say, I don't believe that, Mighty Joe. All right, next one comes from Gunners, and this is along the same lines. He wants to know, how many wins does Kingsbury have against teams that ended the regular season with a winning record? Now, I went by bowl record as well, honestly. So it wasn't just the regular season, but if they finished the whole season, honestly, just because it was easier to do it that way. Tech is 6-29, and honestly, they're coming off easily their best season against teams who finished with winning records. They beat Arizona State last year, Houston, and then UT, who all finished with winning records. Now, of course, UT didn't have a winning record in the regular season, so I know where you're going to go from there. But let's give them a little bit of credit here for, it's just a game here or there for beating. I say what, a mediocre UT, just below mediocre UT team last year. They still finished overall with the winning record. So I don't know. I guess just your thought on that, Joe.
Well, I mean, as far as Texas goes, you're never gonna set aside a win over UT, especially in Austin. I mean, you'll take it, and that's a nice win there. And but yeah, 6-29. That's not going to feed the Bulldog for too much longer, I wouldn't think.
No. JB, Texas Tech Red Raider, wants to know what the real story is with Jet. Now, there's been some talk about him possibly being suspended for the first game, and I honestly don't know. I'm not going to just say that wasn't the case, but I haven't heard that from anybody credible, honestly. I don't have a source saying, oh, that's definitely the case. I do have several sources say that he needs to stop making such poor decisions in practice. So you couple that with at least a couple of poor decisions off the field in his career, then I don't think it's that hard to see why Alan Bowman went in there instead of Jet.
Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of a deep, dark mystery here or some sort of conspiracy or something. I mean, look, Kingsbury has been pretty upfront, as much as he is ever upfront, that basically he's looking for his strategy for the offense and this team this year is to have a game-managing type of a quarterback. Yeah. Somebody who's not going to lose the game for you, somebody who's not going to turn the ball over, making good decisions, mastering the offense. And look, Bowman, he wasn't exactly Dan Marino, but he didn't turn the ball over. No, he didn't. And for a true freshman coming in there like that, it looks to me like he probably made the right decision. And that's the guy he trusts, and he wants to play the quarterback that he's going to trust the most. That's basically what it comes down to, and he just doesn't have faith in Duffy right now to make the right decisions in tough situations.
Red Raiders wants to know, why does special teams continue to be such a problem? Do you know, Maya Joe? What's your opinion on that?
Well, you know, it's just it's the same with every position or every side of the football. I mean, you got to have the right coaches and you got to have the right players, you know, and they've just had a bad streak over there on the special teams. And special teams is just, I mean, it's competitive. The other guys are trying to be good too. You know, they're bringing in coaches that they think are really good, and they're trying to put the right players on the field. So it's not like, you know, this is the easy side of football, you know, and you can just expect to roll something out there and you're going to do well. Look, they've just made some hires that didn't work out, and just haven't necessarily had the athletes over there playing that position enough. And then you've got injuries that pop up. I mean, with Clayton Hatfield last year, which made a big difference as well. And also, listen, let's give the new coach a little bit more time. This is one game. Let's see how this develops. Hopefully he'll get it going, and they can still have a good year on special teams.
I agree with all that except for the punting. Shanking the ball every third time out of the, 20 yards out of the field of play. For a scholarship punter, I'm never going to feel all right about that. You know what I mean? Joey82 asks, which loss was more devastating for their fan base and program? Tech's against Ole Miss or UT's against Maryland? At least there was some good news, Mighty Joe.
Yeah, we're feeling better than the Longhorns.
You think so?
Less bad. Yeah, I think that's a great question. And the reason I'm saying that the UT situation is worse is because those guys still have some hope. I mean, there's people over there who really believe that Herman still could be the guy. I mean, they're not completely ready to chuck him yet, although after this loss to Maryland, the people defending him are pretty few and far between. But with Kingsbury, listen, this is season number 6. We've seen what's happening, and sure, there were people who were still expecting great things or a turnaround, but there were an awful lot of other people who said, yeah, well, you kind of hope, but you're really not expecting much of a turnaround. And so, I think the disparity of the score was the main problem with this game. Not so much. I mean, if you lose by 1 or 2, I don't think people are jumping off the bridge right now. Right. But it's that 20-point margin that's got people stinging a little bit. But still, let's say psychologically, Texas Tech is probably a little bit better off than UT right now.
DL Vet wants to know, is there a 4th quarterback on the roster? And he says, the way the offensive line blocked last game, he's concerned about QB health. Well, yeah, there's a couple of local products who are walk-ons who had really good high school careers. Colt Garrett out of Lubbock Roosevelt, and then Nick Gerber out of Levelland. 2 guys on the roster. I believe both went through spring. I know, yeah, those are 2 guys who I think would be in the running for 4th quarterback, Money Joe.
Yeah, but I hope we're not seeing them. I mean, look, you got Kingsbury has said all along, it's a 3-quarterback race, it's a 3-man race. Yeah. And, I don't think you're going to get all 3 of those guys knocked out of the lineup. Offensive line protection wasn't that bad. It was a little bit shaky. They didn't give up any sacks. Some pressures.
9 quarterback hurries.
Yeah. So, and with now Bowman is not the fleetest of foot. No. So that's a little bit of a concern, but, I don't think you're going to see too much Garrett or Gerber.
MMA Raider wants to know, how did we feel about attendance? How it was for Tech on Saturday? And then he said it didn't look good to him on TV. The announced attendance was 40,333, which is always higher than what's actually butts in the seats, no matter where you're at. But I do think it was predominantly Tech, so that's good. But I'm a little worried about attendance. I mean, you look at the end of last year, I'm a little worried about this week coming up against Lamar, despite it being the season opener. I don't know, Joe. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't know, I might have expected a little bit more down in Houston, to be perfect. I mean, Tech's got plenty of alumni down there, right? And it's a huge city. So I would have expected some more Ole Miss people to be down there. Yeah. Oxford, Mississippi is about the same distance from Houston as Lubbock.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I was a little bit surprised. The attendance was that sparse. But basically what it all is going to come down to is attendance. I mean, is wins and losses here. If Texas Tech somehow catches lightning in a bottle and starts playing lights out, that place over there is going to be filled up again. Yeah. But You know, that's ultimately what it's going to come down to with any kind of decision on Kingsbury. It's not going to be so much attendance. It's going to be the attendance derived from the win-loss record. In the wins and the losses, that's what matters. That's what drives everything. So they got to start winning some ball games.
Well, all right, Mighty Joe, it's good stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.